It's like
Everything around me looks a little great. Ever since you found out, worry about my brain. I just need a time out, probably just a sprain. It's okay, baby, it's okay. Got a lot of words you don't know how to say. Pull out all your big ones, tryna flip my face. I give you a big hug, say I'm feeling great. It's okay, baby, it's okay. I don't wanna see you worry, but if you come on too early, if you make my toes too curly, and if you really have on me, baby, can hold that roll, how to get it so wrong. Get it sometimes you cold on a big problem though, yeah. Cause to me you're an angel. If you ask me why, I say yeah, yo. Everything around me looks a little great. Ever since you found out, worry about my brain. I just need a time.
Touring the grounds and discussing the history and significance of our 3 statues, as well as many artifacts both inside and outside of the temple. 29 lived a life of comfort and security in his father's palace to pursue a realistic understanding of the human condition of pain and suffering. He went first to learn from 2 Hindu teachers, spiritual guides like those who tutor seekers in the Hindu scriptures. Unsatisfied with the more philosophical approach, he joined a group of ascetics, probably of the Jain movement, and subjected himself to several years of dire austerity. When that too failed, he moved on and decided to meditate under a Bodhi tree until enlightenment. Bodhi means enlightenment. This is a Bodhi tree. It can live to be 200 years old. Even today, after 2,600 years in Bodh Gaya, India, there is a descendant of the original Bodhi tree. The Buddha sat under the Bodhi tree for 49 days and 49 nights to become enlightened. It has a heart-shaped leaf with a teardrop. Our tree is 2 years old, and it will eventually fill the whole canopy. There will be a bell tower under its canopy to house the great bell. This is the great bell, known in Japan as the bansho. It is used to summon monks to prayer and demarcate periods of time. Rather than containing a clapper, the banshos are struck from the outside using either a handheld mallet or a beam suspended on rope. Our bell is made of bronze. They are typically very ornate with many raised bands and inscriptions. The earliest of these bells in Japan date to around 600 CE, although the general design is a much earlier Chinese origin. The bell's penetrating and pervasive tones carries over considerable distances, which led their use as a signal, a timekeeper, and an alarm. In addition, the sound of the bell is thought to have supernatural properties. It is believed, for example, that it can be heard in the underworld. The spiritual significance of the bansho means they play an important role in Buddhist ceremonies and festivals. Before services on Sunday and rings the bell. I'd like to ring it for you. This banso is our call to service bell. It is made of 2,200 pounds of bronze cast in Vietnam. A monk sits in this chair and rings the bell for a half hour before services on Sunday. While we're here, I would like to point out that you can read Vietnamese. Our statues were sculptured in Vietnam from white granite, shipped to China, then through the Panama Canal to Tampa, and then trucked over from Tampa. If, just as a footnote, if diamond is number 10 in hardness, granite's number 9, it's the second hardest stone. Most statues throughout the world are sculptured in marble, very soft, very easy to work with. They're number 3. The Buddha you see here is Siddhartha. He was the original Buddha that became enlightened 2,600 years ago while sitting under the Bodhi tree. This statue is 35 feet tall. Now you can't get a permit to bring 250 tons over the highway, so Siddhartha had to be cut into 4 pieces. The torso was lifted from the legs from the pedestal, and the pedestal was cut in half and then reassembled when he got here. Any place you see this Buddha in the world, he is known as the enlightened Buddha. This is the Nirvana Buddha. Here, the Buddha is 80 years old and he's dying. And the artistic significance of this statue is when you walk up those steps, you're looking straight into the eyes of a man who is dying. He knows he's dying and he's at peace. He actually has a smile on his face. Now, his father was the prince of northern India, southern Nepal, and he was actually born in present-day Nepal. And when he died, he had been teaching for 45 years. But basically, he only taught within his father's kingdom. When he died, he had 2,500 disciples. Half of them went south. They went south through India, over to the island of Sri Lanka, up to Burma, which today we call Myanmar, Thailand, Cambodia, and Laos, and they formed their own school of Buddhism. In Buddhism, we call them schools, not denominations. And that school is called Theravada. They are the fundamentalist branch of the Buddhist faith. They read the same Dharma that we read, the same scriptures. And every text within this Dharma is called a sutra. They read the same one, but they interpret it like it was 2,600 years ago. And if you die as a Theravada Buddhist, you may die and be reborn for eons before you become enlightened. He is the Buddha of loving kindness and compassion. I'm a Buddhist. We stand in the temple in front of the abbot and in front of the Shanga, the congregation, and we take these 5 vows, and we call them precepts. No killing. These 4 columns basically are the gateway to the Avalokitesvara. One of them says all the way to Nirvana is Nirvana. Directly to the left of it is the same column in Vietnamese. This is a very large incense burner, and it's used to burn incense, which is a sign of impermanence. It goes from a stem to a little bit of fire to a cloud of smoke and then just dissipates. That's one sign of impermanence. It's the Heart Sutra. The Heart Sutra is a very original sutra by the Buddha on emptiness and the non-self. And it takes a little thinking, a little research, and a little study, and you begin to grasp the concept of non-self. We have two wooden plaques on our temple walls as you enter. One is to buy, and that means loving kindness and compassion. On the other side, the plaque on the other side of the temple wall, Hisa. Yeah. And that means sympathetic joy and equanimity. In Japanese, this is umpan. It is translated in English to the cloud plate. This also is used to summon the Sangha to the temple. Sometimes this is made of rock, and sometimes this is made of bronze. This is called a hongji. It is a big wooden gong in English. It is a heavy, solid board hung near the front of the temple, used to gather the Shangha for meditation. The translations from Chinese on the front of the board to English is birth and death is grave and pain. Transcendency will soon be here. Let each wake up to the fact, and being ever reverent, do not give yourself up for dissipation. Now on the back side of the gong is another inscription. This gong is rung by the monks and the nuns when entering the temple, and this is for the purpose of waking one up to the fact of mindfulness. Into a temple, we bow like this 3 times. And what we're doing is we're showing respect to the Buddha, respect to the Dharma, which is the Buddha's teachings, and respect to the Sangha, which is the congregation of Buddhists. On Sunday morning, we have our services. At 10 minutes to 10, the Sangha comes into the temple first, and they'll be sitting on cushions like those two you see right there. They'll be prearranged all over the floor. And if you have some physical reason why you can't sit lotus style like the Buddha on the floor, then you sit in the chairs. But about 80% of the people will be sitting on the floor. At 10 o'clock sharp, the nuns and the monks come over from the monastery. And they come over in a single file procession with the most senior member of Buddhism being in the lead. Now normally that senior member is a monk, but occasionally the senior member is a nun. So actually it's led by the senior member and not by gender. When they come in, we stand up and bow a show of respect. Now, I want to point out too while we're standing here that this is a Mahayana Pure Land temple with a little Zen blended in with it. And we keep our temple very plain, very simple, very austere. We keep the focus on the Buddha. If you go into a Tibetan temple, a Thai temple, or a Cambodian temple, they're very ornate, they're very beautiful.